Hello and welcome to Wholeness, a quantum experience. I'm your host, Shannon Ledford, and today I am welcoming the lovely Mary Lynn Kelly. Mary Lynn, welcome.
Shannon, it's so nice to finally get the chance to talk with you.
I know. What you guys don't know is that if you've listened to episode 3, Mary Lynn got together with Ava, and I was
Yeah.
supposed to be there too, and I had a kid thing come up, and so here we are.
Something about children, I get that. I remember those days. And I'll tell you what, even now, it's like, how do I say it? It's nice that my children want to be with me and they don't feel it's a duty to be with me. They actually want to spend some time. So when it lines up in their life and they want to spend time with me, I'm like, woohoo! So those are good times too.
And tell us, so you have 2 kids, right?
I have I have
3.
3.
Okay.
So I've got girl, boy, girl. So Katie, Kurt,
Mm-hmm.
and Mary, and 2 are local, close by, and my youngest daughter, Mary, is out in Portland, Oregon. So,
Nice.
but we'll do FaceTime or we do like Marco Polos and things like that. So we get to stay connected.
And how old are your kids now?
So it's 45, 44, and Mary just turned 40.
Can we just say you look amazing? Because I'm about to be 50. I'm about to be 50 on Sunday. And so, like, I'm your kid's age.
Birthday! Yeah,
Age-ish.
exactly. Wow. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I'll be 69. Oh shit, 69 in October. So
Wow. You look
maybe it's the
incredible.
quantum energy wellness, but I don't know.
I'll take that. I'll take that all day
Okay,
long. We know
awesome.
it does amazing things, even if we're not sure exactly how it does it.
Right, exactly. But we can see the difference and we can see it in our clients as well. And it's not always just physical either. It's I don't spiritual, emotional, awesome level. So yeah.
Well, I think too, when we get aligned in those spiritual, emotional ways, it comes out and affects our physical bodies. And I think
Oh
more than
yeah.
we've ever thought, actually.
Well, for me, I'm learning it, and this is every single day keeps changing. So just a heads up, if somebody's seen this 3 months down, I've already changed, just a heads up. But for me, it's that every time, and I hate to throw this word around, but it's really important right now, but authenticity.
Mm.
So, and I think particularly for me and being a woman, it's really important. So it's believing and allowing all of who I am in every given moment, which is unconditional love, which is already who I am, right? But staying
Yes.
authentic in that and tuned into that in every now eternal moment is where I'm practicing that on a conscious level now. So when I'm in that authenticity, like physically, things do line up. And emotionally, things do line up. And anything that is not for me anymore, I don't even have to let go. It just falls to the side. And I'm like,
Oh,
oh, well, isn't that interesting? And it could be friendships, it's just really interesting. And so then you just kind of lean into what's still showing up for you. It's still there. So whatever it is. So I've also learned whether it's good or bad or ugly or whatever, it's all falling to the side when I stay in that now eternal moment. Because all I need is to be in that and not do
mm.
time traveling, thinking about the past or the future. Let me remember that. Oh, I'm time traveling. Great. Why are we here again? No, no, no. Come back to the eternal now moment because everything's right there. It's amazing. But I'm constantly having to recheck in, um, reline up and stand in my authenticity. And it's allowing myself to have all the feelings I'm having and not have to explain it to anybody,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
I don't know why I'm having a bad day, but blah blah. No, 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 no. It's just how I'm feeling now. I'm just going to sit with this. I'm not sure what's going on, but this is where I'm at. And I don't have to explain it to anybody and not like being mean, just being me.
Yeah.
And I think particularly as women, how often are we always having to explain ourselves? "I'm sorry I'm being so emotional. I'm sorry you don't understand." Or doing the people pleasing, which is definitely a lose-lose scenario.
Right.
It's just it's interesting, even with my clients, they're bringing in this beautiful gift of me standing in my authenticity, things that I normally would have done and kind of
Mhm.
caretake, right? So, oh, okay, you're having these medical issues and well, I'll get this for you so that and then it's so weird because it was there for a second and then I could hear, "Oh, but I could keep what you need in my refrigerator here for you." I'm like, "Who said that?" Like, oh my god, it's like, so I'm not fixing, I'm just providing another resource. I had it, I have a kitchen where I'm at, I have a refrigerator if there's things you need medically, so that you have something. I'm happy to leave it here in the refrigerator for you, but I'm not gonna go out and buy it, which is what my first thought was coming through, which is what I used to do. "I got you, girl." That's not getting anybody,
That is
right?
so interesting because I find myself not being particularly nurturing. I'm a little more um, like with my kids, even, right? Like,
Okay.
yes, I love my kids. I'm with my kids a lot, but I'm like, no, you can do that for yourself. Nope, I'm pretty sure you can do that. Nope, I'm pretty sure you can do that too. Like
That's
go.
amazing.
I but is it cuz I had a really nurturing mother who I adored and she passed in 2019.
Aw.
Um but I she was my best friend in my 20s, and I mean I just adored her, and she was really nurturing and she did a lot of things for us, and I don't do the things she did.
Did you feel
I
smothered?
no. I felt loved by her.
So,
I felt a little smothering more from how controlling I felt my dad was, and like we healed a lot
okay,
of that.
okay.
He was very protective, and so that felt really controlling to me, but from her that's not how it was.
But the men, wow, that's really interesting, Shannon, because wow, what a big judgment you have of yourself.
I
Because
know, like I'm not that nurturing, and I don't know.
okay, but every when you speak, I feel love, I feel nurturing. So it's like maybe you think it should look a certain way, but I think you're also not giving yourself and your children enough credit to feel that maybe you're showing up exactly the way they need it and the way you two need to work it out, right? So
Well, it goes
nurturing,
to that thing about authenticity, though. Like, I'm not authentically super nurturing or coddling or caretaking. It's not really who I am. And so I show my love and bring myself in a really different way than that.
okay, so how does that show up? How does that look? I'd love to hear about this. This is amazing.
Um, okay. So I hold their schedules. I make the things. When we're in the car driving to 400 million things every day, that's our time to be together. I want to hear about your day. I want to hear about what's going on. Um, when my oldest has a hard time falling asleep at night, she'll come down and I'll tell her to go ahead and journal out what's going on. And then she wants me to read it. And then we talk about
What?
it. And so
See?
there's this level where they trust me.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
impressive.
What I find though is that yes, I think you're right. I have expectations about what a mother should look like because of what my mother looked like and how amazing she
Yep.
was. Um, but also I put some expectations on them that that's my work really is the expectations I put on my kids about how I want them to do or act or whatever. It's about pulling those back a lot and letting them be as much themselves in any given moment as I can.
I
And I'm
find
awful
that
at it
very
sometimes.
nurturing. But that's very nurturing. That's very loving. Like I said, you're letting them show up the way they need to show up and when they really need you, which is what I'm feeling and seeing is the structure that they have so that they know they're safe within that structure,
Hmm.
and that which allows them to be exactly who they are in any given moment too, in their authenticity. Because I give give you credit, because having children in these days is nothing like when I had my children or when you were growing up. I mean, the stuff that's out there, and not even that, the awareness, the energy, you add that piece to it. It's like before I didn't know all that stuff, even though I was spiritual. I wasn't aware like I am now,
Right.
so that you do what you do is nurturing. This is how I see you. You're probably going to laugh at me. So for me, I remember some of the hardest things to do was teaching children things to how to be capable. And the basic thing of that to me was riding a bike.
Oh,
They're going to fall. They're going to fall, right? They could get hurt, right? But you're teaching them, it's balance, keep your knees in, you got it. You're running with them, you're holding the bike, and then they're like, I got it. And you're like, oh, please let them have it. Please let them have it. And you let go of the seat, and they're riding down. And so I just see you like that in any given moment. It's like, I gotcha. And I want you to do you. This is amazing for you. And then the joy that they have when they find out they did it themselves, right?
yeah.
But you provided the support. I mean, all the scheduling, all that stuff. That's amazing. I mean, I remember scheduling because my now ex-husband never went to any of the kids' functions. And so,
Mm.
I'd drop one off at the soccer field and watch half of her games. And then I'd leave at her halftime and go drop him off at his soccer game in a totally another city in another field, right? When you could leave children alone, but everybody would watch your kids. But
Right.
and then leave and go pick up hers and then go pick up him again. I mean, you're spending all this time, all their violin lessons, all that stuff, right? Balancing all that. And every kid is different, because I even remember Katie, my oldest, who God, she's a master and she doesn't even know it, even to this day. And she's not really spiritual. She's funny, but she's so tuned in. But I remember pulling into the garage and she must have been 6. So she was going to, I mean, we were out in the burbs like we are here now, and she was going into the city of Milwaukee doing the Milwaukee Ballet School. She was doing brownies, she was doing tennis. What else? CCD, because I always felt I really wasn't into the Catholic stuff, but I wanted them something to push up against. Like, oh, we hate this. Okay, great. I don't want you going searching for something. You'll find it.
I hated CCD too. I remember being like 10 years old and looking at my mother and being like, you can choose CCD Saturday mornings or church on Sunday, but I'm done doing both.
Yep. Well, here's Katie. So very similar. Pulled into the garage and very calmly, because she's sitting in the passenger side, and she looks at me and she goes, you know, even God had a day off.
Oh, sweet girl.
There, and I'm like, gosh, shit. Because I was so into keeping up with the Joneses, and so and so was doing this, all that. I was a young mother. I was having kids in my early 20s. And so Um, I said, "Yeah, is it getting to be a bit too much?" And she goes, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, you can get rid of anything you want except for the CCD stuff," which was just one day a week. And she goes, "Okay." And she gave up the Milwaukee Ballet. She gave up brownies, and I forget what else but she kept the tennis. She kept up her violin. She wanted to keep doing her violin. And I said, "Okay." It's just like, how much more honest can you be? And I appreciated the fact that she felt safe enough to say something,
Yeah.
so it's like, but I'm telling you, it's a rude awakening as a new parent, because none of these kids come with, any kind of information. And each one is different.
Right. It
Totally.
wouldn't matter if there was a general manual because they're all so different.
Yeah. Uniquely different,
Yes.
and it's like, because you get this, you love so and so more than you love me. And I'm like, how do you see that? And they're like, well, you just took so and so and did this and that and the other. And, or, you don't yell at so and so for this, and this. And I'm like, right. Do I yell at you for this, and this? No, I go, well, I'm always yelling at them for that. So it's like, you're different people. And then they're like, oh, okay. It's just like, and I tried to spend time with each one of the kids separately. So like they all
Yeah.
felt loved and they knew what was going on. And like I never spanked, I never really raised my voice. Um, I didn't have to. I
Oh,
was one of those parents that had that look, that look.
oh, I've got the
So
look.
yeah,
But
I
I
got that look
also
too.
but I also raise my voice. We also don't
That's
spank,
okay.
but
That's family stuff. But that was just me. And I knew that, like, God, see, this is the self-checking as a parent. So we went to Cape Cod most every year for vacation, and we were out. It was a windy day at the ocean, so we went to the lake. And I never yelled. So, but my kids always had to turn around on a regular basis. I want to make sure I can see you and you're safe, right? So,
mhm.
turn around periodically, check where we are, and stay like in that zone. So, but I would never yell from a sand chair and go, God, stop, blah, blah, blah. Like, and and you can kind of yell in the water and play because kids get to be kids, but like that obnoxious screaming just to scream,
Mm,
like, stop doing that. So, but they had fun. So all of a sudden I thought, it's really nice. I'm going to go play with the kids, right? Well, my kids knew that most of the time, if I'm getting up out of my chair, I'm coming to talk to you because I'm not going to yell. So I get up and I start walking, and all the kids turn around, and everybody goes, and I'm like, what? They're like, did we do something wrong? I'm like, no, I came out to play with you. And they're like, oh, okay. And I'm like, I might have carried that just a little too far because they see it so differently and they experience it so differently, right? So yeah, and so kids are just they're all different, and I was never someone who counted because I know kids wait to hit 3, so it's like, just do it now. Um, Even my
I
son
think
being a boy, they're different, right? Do you
I
have a
bet.
son?
We don't know. I've got two daughters.
Oh, totally different. But they're more, "Oh, no. Why'd you do that? Oh, no." So, you're
I
like,
didn't count much with my oldest, but man, with my youngest, she is willful, and sometimes there's counting going on, man. Whew.
well,
She.
you know what? So this is what I found worked with Kurt because they're so smart and they know exactly what buttons to push, right?
Not only
They're
what buttons
skilled.
to push, I'm pretty sure my youngest is like, why can't you speak with me telepathically? I don't understand all this, what you're doing. Like you're so
Oh, maybe you should
behind.
start. You should do
I
it. Start
know.
going. If she's telling you that, start practicing that.
All right.
Awesome. Awesome.
She's like,
Telepathy
you are
tape.
so far behind. Oh yes, telepathy tapes. If you haven't listened, we'll put a link down below. But because if you haven't
Oh
listened to
yeah.
telepathy tapes, you
Make sure
should.
you do it. It's kind of boring up to 3, but once you hit 4 and above, it's so worth it.
Oh my
Play in
god, I
order.
laughed, I cried. Oh god.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but she's been like, her general demeanor is, you are so far behind. Why? And then you're treating me like I'm far behind. I don't understand what's going on here.
Oh, she's very well, and when she's
Yeah,
telling you that, she means
yeah,
it.
I know.
So, yeah,
And I'm
I
not sure
think
what to do with it, so I just keep fumbling along, Mary Lynn.
has she heard the telepathy tapes? Because I wonder if that would be something you guys could have a conversation on, and she
Well,
could help you with the communication.
she's 4.
What? And she's telling you that? Oh, she's tapped in, tuned in. Oh God. Yeah, that's
So I mean, has she
mm.
listened to the telepathy tapes? She heard parts of them in the car when we were in the car together. Sure.
Oh no,
But
she knows.
not.
She's already there.
No, she's
She
4.
reminds me of when they get, yeah, she reminds me of when I had, was it a 4 or 5 year old autistic kid on the bed, and he would come in and, God, he was just so cute. But he would actually start calming down when being on the bed. But the fun thing he would do is he would stand on the bed and put his arms up like he was going to fly because he knows he
Oh.
can, right?
Oh yeah.
And he'd jump off the bed and then kind of look surprised when he didn't keep going. And I'm like, oh yeah, he's traveling multidimensionally all the time. And so
Right.
with the autistic kids, it's bringing them in so they're in sync, right? So they help ground them. So when someone's having a conversation with them, they can have a conversation. But with your daughter, she's already grounded.
Oh
She's
yeah.
got that piece. Yes, she does know more than you do.
I
I
know.
had I had
But what's
somebody.
interesting is that I actually did ritual to ground her when she was born because I had this feeling
Ah,
that she wasn't sure she was going to do this thing.
look
So
at
like
you.
we did ritual, we buried stuff. I mean like she knew who she needed
Oh,
if she was going to do this journey. I was
she's
yeah. And
already
we could all say that
she
and then I was yelling at her this morning, you know.
well, because you don't hello, we get to be human, and an authentic moment was, "I'm out of control, she's fine, but I'm out of control, and I'm trying to ground." It's like, so we both can have this moment together. So, there's nothing easy about having children, and actually being responsible, right? And not squashing them.
Right.
So
Right.
but I have had, like, a five-year-old that reminds me of your daughter where, Ernie would get on the bed and, like, this kid was definitely tuned in, like, he's still tapped into where he came from, right? As
Yeah, yeah.
it feels like your daughter is too, and spends a lot of time there. But I remember sitting in the waiting area, and he got off the quantum energy wellness bed, walked past me and points his finger at me, and goes, "You know, you're always living in the future," and walked right past. And
Oh,
I'm like,
mic
"What?"
drop.
Yeah, I'm like, "Shit, he's right."
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, I need and that's how I now know that I need to stay in the every now eternal present moment, but it's like, but he was right. It's just but he just off the top of his head like that, right? And it's like you're not he didn't say that just to be sounding kooky or crazy. That's where he was at. That's what he saw and that's what he said.
Yeah.
So your daughter, yeah, that's pretty amazing. She's still tapped in and they usually stay there, particularly those that are really still tapped in. And kudos to you because you're not squashing any of it because it doesn't scare you. And a lot of parents it would. So
Oh, there's
kudos.
moments though. I mean, let's be really honest about it.
Well, of
There's
course,
moments
but
where
I'm
I'm
saying
squashing it, but
in general, you're
right.
mostly holding space because you're aware. So, oh God, that's just well, I'm excited for you, but I also know for your brain, it must be breaking it and making it tired.
All the time. And it's
Yeah.
great. Right? So that yes, having kids is the hardest thing I've ever done, but it's also the most wondrous and joyous thing I've ever done. Both. And
Yep.
so it
I wouldn't
all
trade it.
no, it all weaves and all of that. Tell me this. In what ways did being a mother help you, or how did it create more wholeness for you? And what did you want all your kids to know?
Well, my big thing was because I never felt it, was what love felt like unconditional love, right? And I'm not perfect and I've made many mistakes. My children would tell you, but they would also tell you that the one thing that they know for sure is that even with some of the mistakes I made, that they always felt loved. Always. And that was a very big thing for me because we're all human, we're all gonna make mistakes. There's scary times. I mean, for them, it was their dad was supposed to die of cancer. I started having, flashbacks, of being abused and tortured from a very young age, and so I their dad right after their dad, well, I found a cure for his cancer because I did some research, but, um, as soon as that happened, then I was in a mental institution for a month. I was in therapy for 10 years. Their dad went through a midlife crisis and divorced me. These kids went through all this unstable stuff. And but and mistakes I made trying to how do I say it? For me, I feel like all the experiences I've had in my life are for me to have those so I can remember by having them, knowing that's not who I am, to remember everything that I am. So I'm not
Right.
that, I'm not my abuse, I'm not this, I'm not that. So, and my kids seeing that, like you can come out the other side. I mean, I was
Mm.
very, and I know this is a shock for a lot of people, but as a housewife and being very young, I was very mealy mousy. I was very quiet. I never expressed my feelings. Um, it was like walking on a glass and eggshells with my husband around. And then when he would
Mm.
leave, there's a part of me that would, kind of like ding dong, Jim is gone. Da, 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 da. I could be me again, right? All that other stuff would go away. But then my kids
Yeah.
benefited from that, and that part of the good side of him not being home is that there wasn't all that stress for them, right? They
Right.
got to be all of who they were, and instead of being yelled at and all the stuff that they had to go through. And I would kind of check in. This is how my children taught me how to get all my pieces back. Again, Katie,
Oh,
my lovely sweet one, I said, let's role play. You be me, I'll be you. Okay. She must have been 10. And it's like some of the stuff was coming up. I'm like, yeah, that's me, blah, blah, blah. And then she just turned into her father. And I'm like, holy shit. So she's like in the corner, like we used to punish by putting the kids in the corner by the front door. It's all open space, but so I could keep an eye on them. But to sit and reflect, some people it's the stairs, blah, blah, blah. It was the corner. And so all of a sudden I'm sitting in the corner now and she's standing over me with her finger going, you will, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you could feel all her anger at all this
ah,
doing
yeah.
coming out. And I'm like, had to grab her hand. I'm like, Katie, stop. I said, I will speak with your dad tonight. I think you're getting a little too old to be sitting in a corner. This isn't working. I'm sorry you had to go through that. And she just kind
Oh,
of looked at me like something might actually change, right? So yeah. So now it's just go to your room. I don't care if you play with your animals. Just a timeout. It's like, whatever. But I got my a lot of my pieces back from my children, seeing uh, that I could allow them to be as they got older, all of who they are without trying to fit them into this mold that everybody told me that they should be,
I
right?
know. Yep.
And keeping up with the Joneses. And I lived in a world of being the doctor's wife. I didn't make a very good doctor's wife, but and that was before I really woke up. But it was just like I just wasn't. I've never been like that. I've always been that black sheep on the outside. So
Mm.
seeing my children and them making me aware of my humanity and seeing where, like, you don't know when you step on a landmine till you step on it, right?
Right.
And then you're standing on it and you're like, ah, shit. So I know I'm going to blow up in this moment, or do I want to stand here for a while and decide, give myself a break, like, how long can I stand here and not deal with this, right? And back then,
Yeah.
that was easier to do. Now you can't do that. Now it's just you're being asked to deal
Not.
with it immediately. Immediately. So, but back
Yes.
then, but even now with my adult children, I'm still getting pieces of me back because I was living with my daughter Katie again. It's not that I don't have lessons from the other one. I definitely do with the other two, but I moved out after 8 years. It was she told me I could live there. I had a bad divorce for a year and then I moved in and she's like, oh, you can stay here to the day you die. I'd love to have you, but don't die in the bed. That's the only thing I ask for you not to do. It's too creepy, Mom. It's too creepy. I'm
I
like,
love
I'll,
her.
I'll work on that. So, but it was just time for me to move out. Her dog of 17 years passed away and it created this space that she never had. She didn't have to come home for the dog and he was, older and needed attention. So there was just it just opened it up and I could feel it too. So, um she was funny. She was helping me put a rug back on and she's coming up and I said, "Katie, I know you told me I'm not allowed to say this again, but I really feel like it's time for me to go." And she comes up and she starts crying. She goes, how did you know I was going to tell you tomorrow? I go, really?
Oh.
I'm your mother. Like, I get it. Like, I had felt it. It was palpable, but it just was perfect timing. So, and I'm happy where I'm at now. She's happy. It's so good. And but I went over for November for to put up the Christmas tree, right? And
Mm-hmm.
here's where the universe is asking all of us all that shit that you don't realize you still have tethers in that are connected to things to let go of and to see and
Oh,
experience.
yes.
Because she starts putting up the Christmas tree ornaments and she's not, and we had combined all of them, right? And she's like, no, you can take this. You can, I don't want that. You can take this. And in my head, I mean, like, I know rationally that, like, yeah, she doesn't want something unless it has specific memories for her. To my stuff, I can take it. But all I could hear in my head and my heart was like hurting so badly. And it said, out of sight, out of mind, out of sight, out of mind.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like almost in tears. I'm like, what the frick is going on? Like, it was really intense. And I'm like, well, Katie, why not? And so, her being as tuned in as she is and doesn't know it, after a few minutes, is like, forget it. We'll just do this another day. So she's sitting down. And again, I'm hearing out of sight, out of mind. And now I'm hearing run, run, literally, like, get the heck out, run. I haven't felt this since I was inpatient at the hospital 30 years ago. And I'm like, what's going on? I'm now crying. It's like it was just
Yeah.
insane. So I'm pulling myself together, going, okay, this isn't me now. This is really old. I don't know what this is, but like, we're going to have to sit with it. So Katie was brave enough to get back up and start putting things up. And she just looked at me and said, Mom, if there's no emotional connection to it, I really just don't want it anymore. And I go, Katie, I totally understand. And I did. Like, I get it.
Right.
I said, I don't know what's going on. This is just how I'm feeling. So I'm driving home and I'm starting to cry again, like
Oh, yeah.
cry, cry. And I'm like, oh God, Mary Lynn, you got to make it home safely. You can't be doing this. So I get home and I'm still crying. And now I'm having the depth of where this is coming from. And this was from a vision of me rocking in a rocking chair at 3, sucking my thumb and singing Nobody Loves Me at 3.
Oh, yeah.
And it's that old, old feeling. Even though I know my children love me, it was tapping on that
Right.
and letting me know I'm still walking with that. So it took me about 2.5 weeks to alchemize that, to allow myself to have those feelings, to be
Yep.
able to talk about it, and not have the story be attached to all the emotions. Now it's just an experience, it's not a story.
Right.
Yeah,
And you've healed it for you and
and her,
her and future generations
and my
and
mother.
past generations. Yeah.
Totally,
Yeah.
totally. So it was like that
They
was just
talk about that like 7 generations back and 7 generations
yep,
forward. And
yep.
that makes sense to me. Yeah.
But it was huge because it's like
Yeah.
I'm sitting there going, "What's going on?" Because I knew it wasn't logical, but I was
Yeah.
definitely feeling it. And so, thanks to Katie, who was always pushing up on me that way, that's kind of been her, I feel like, her gift here, and we're doing it for each other, although she's not. When Mary Elizabeth and Kurt and I kind of get more spiritual, she's like, when you guys, I'm gonna go get something. When you guys are done with your voodoo talk or whatever it is, let me know. I'll come back. But she's so tapped in,
Mhm.
she just doesn't know, but she is.
Yeah, it's interesting the contracts that we have with them, with our kids.
Yeah,
And again, like every kid is different, those agreements are different.
yeah, yeah. And so,
Yeah.
but they bring out those pieces of you, which, when I go back and look at when I was married to their father and stuff, the buttons that were pushed there too. I
Sure.
mean, now I get it. I don't know. Well, now I don't want to be in a relationship, although if it happens, fine, but I can't imagine. I don't know. I'll let things be whatever they're going to be, but it's not like I'm looking
No
at,
expectations.
yeah, no, because, if somebody asked me about that, and I said, it's nice to have somebody that you can get in the car and go for a ride and get lost on purpose and see what you find. And someone who's willing to explore and be real and stuff like that. But it's like, I don't know. I just, there's so much work for me to do personally. And I know I'm a bridge for so
Yeah.
many people.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
that's why I came. I can feel it. I feel like I can't, like, nobody's going to be left behind. I gotcha kind of like thing. I'm just holding that space for people. Um, but I'm just so like some of my clients that I don't always agree with, that they even come through the door, they're badass, right?
Yeah.
Because they're willing to see life differently. And I think that's is what I love about like you and how you are with your children, at a time where like you're being pushed on to energetically to do your own personal healing, right? And
Sure.
then, and this is the hardest part being about a parent is they're looking at you going, we just assume you have all the answers, right? You're like,
Well, I've got both ends. I've got some of that, and I've got some of why do you not have the answers? I have them all already. Why is it taking you so long? I have both. They push
oh,
on me in
that's
both
right.
ways. Both of my
You
kids
are
do,
so,
actually. So I don't know, Mary Lynn.
I would love to, oh man, I'd love to talk to your daughter. Like, so what you got for me today? What answers you got for me today? I would love to know. What
I'm
you got for me?
afraid. I'm afraid to give her that much power.
Oh my God,
Oh no,
Shannon.
Landis. Hey, Mary Lynn. I know.
No,
It feels awful
you
to
forgot.
say.
No, stop. You know what you forgot? You're just that powerful showing you.
But
She's
isn't
showing
but
you.
but isn't it but isn't it for all of us that cultivating that space to allow all of our divinity, our power, our light to come through, like isn't that foundationally what we're all doing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You're talking about is like bringing yourself to every moment, this moment right now. Yeah, it's that. So tell me this, is there any simple thing that you do to continue to cultivate wholeness?
You know,
Any
it's
simple
funny because I
practice to
know
share?
because Ava asked me that too. And I have a lot of people that do ask me that. And I'm unusual in the fact that like I don't journal. I don't like I get the power of all that stuff and it is amazing. Um I've started to try to do some of that stuff and then it just doesn't show up again or then I lose the book. It's like God doesn't even allow me to read right now. It's like the last 4 years
Oh,
I am not allowed to read. Period. And I used to read all the time. I was one of those people with the markers. Like
yeah,
I'd read,
yeah.
oh, that's right. And then I'd read it again in a year with a different color and I'm like, oh, I did that. Ooh, but I didn't see that before. Okay, it got underlined that. Like I was always outside of myself looking for my own
Oh,
answer, right? So what
yes, that
my
seeking.
yep,
I
and I was
understand that.
reading yep, and but that's my personality would be to go and put my power out there instead of in here. And so I've learned that the secret for me is to organically just choose to be aware to live in every now moment. And it gives me that clarity and that discernment. If I just keep living, well, there's no mistakes, but that like right now, I don't know if my business is going to continue. And because I don't have enough money to pay for my rent, I just don't. And so I love what I do. I love being the bridge. I love playing my gongs. And I love the connection with people. You know, it's like, although I really do like being in my own home by myself, just saying, I don't get my energy from other people. I get it from myself. But yeah, so
Mm.
I'm in this place of the unknown, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't feel bad about it because, like, I've already shown myself by being in every now moment. Like when I had the bed at the first place for the year, and it kept flooding, and like the third time, the water almost came up to the bed, and I could hear God tell me, "Mary Lynn, do you need me to send an ark next time?" I'm just like, He's like, it's time to go and grow. And I stomped my foot literally and said, no, I don't want to. I just got stable. I just figured shit out, how to make a calendar, get the website, like all that stuff. He's like, yeah, time to go. So then I ended up where I'm at now, which was also a hot mess. And I felt like I was going backwards, and I could hear God tell me, which was me talking to me and God, um, like, get the place. And I'm like, get out of God, get out of your way, Mary Lynn. See the vision. And then I
Oh
talked
man.
to the landlord and I said, can you do this? I want bookshelves. I want a seat for books. I want a pony wall here, the kitchen there. It's all new doors, flooring, everything. Oh yeah. I didn't have to pay for that except for the doors. And and even the 24-page lease, right? And I'm reading this. It took me 2 days to get through it. And then I sent it to my attorney and I'm like, and he got to the third page and he goes, I wouldn't sign this, Mary Lynn. He goes, I don't care how nice these people are. This contract, you have no leg to stand on. And I'm really quiet and I can hear God sign the lease. And he goes, you're going to sign the lease, aren't you? I go, uh-huh. And they've been the most amazing people. So I love the space. Everybody that walks in there loves the space. But now I'm seeing a space that is like in the forest, in this barn or industrial building that is just the right size for the bed and for all my gong playing and for other people to come in and do circles and community stuff, which I really feel strongly about, and enough room to the side where I could build a labyrinth.
Oh
And I'm
yes,
like,
love a labyrinth.
right?
I
Right?
had a
And
really,
so
yeah,
walk it. You don't have to come and be in the building. You have to come for a class. Come walk it. I don't care. So that's kind of what I'm putting out there. And I feel like I've got 1 foot in, 1 foot out. But again, my practice for me in living is living and just taking that one step in front of me that's showing up for me. Now, I may end up staying there. Something might happen where I am, but it's
sure.
getting too noisy. There's too many people in the building. And I'm a very unusual business because I either need it very quiet. I can't hear, I mean, if you can hear other people talking, kids running up and down halls, and I'm like, it's not really conducive to the quantum energy wellness bed. But then I'm the other person on the other side banging on my gongs for private gong bath sessions. So it's like, I can't say, you all need to be quiet, when I'm playing gong. So
Sure.
I'm just saying. So it feels like it's time again.
Yep.
Or it might be that I have a break in between and maybe spring because I'm telling you the energies, like I can't see past June. Like energetically, I'm like, there's a huge shift coming. And I'm like, okay, we're just going to ride the wave.
So where can people find you now? If
Right
they,
now,
yeah, if they
I
want to
like to
come
play
do in-person sessions or distance sessions or come do the gongs with
this
you.
session. So I'm in Heartland, Wisconsin, and you can find me on my website, which is Quantum Wellness US, like the United States.com. And just make sure it's got the US on it, and then you'll come find me. And I've got an amazing website that Ava was very instrumental in helping me put together
It
because
looks
she
so
gets
good.
my yeah, it does. It gets my energy, and she another thing that she takes feedback. That's why she's on my website for under resources because the woman's got skills. So,
Oh, so many.
yep. So, and that's the other thing. Look at all the people that we're coming and connecting with, like you and Ava and a bunch of the other bed owners or even non-bed owners, the people that are like it takes a lot to live in this life right now. Even though I'm
It
saying
does.
this every now eternal moment is simple, we do make it complicated. Well, I'll say I make it complicated because I'm really good at taking things that are simple and making them complicated.
Yep.
So getting better at, just letting things show up and be what they need to be. But I can make it simple for other people, but not for
I get that. I get it.
myself. Yep. So, I mean, so absolutely come and play on the bed, do a distance session. I also have the amazing Biophoton Illumis Sky and Matter Balls, which really amp up the sessions on the distance sessions and in person because they've got little white
Mm.
gloves with fingertips out so
Oh,
that they
fun.
can put the balls inside there in case you do want to fall asleep. You don't have to worry about dropping them. And your
Awesome.
fingertips can still touch the bed.
Cool. So
Yeah.
we will put all of that information down below so you have all the links and all the things. Mary Lynn, thank you for today. I never know quite where our conversations are going to go, but I
I
always
know.
love to play.
I do too. And you know what? And I just have to say, oh, hold on, because now I'm going to cry. I appreciate
Oh.
you and how you're holding space for you and your children and your
Thank you.
husband. That's pretty badass because nowadays that is not an easy feat, not to play out the scripts that other people are playing out. That's an easy way to go. What you're doing isn't. So
Oh, thank you for saying
kudos
that. I
to you.
appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you
No, I
for
appreciate it.
joining. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for listening. If you've listened to the end here, go ahead and,
Right?
yeah, come check us all
Yep.
out. The bed's awesome. Mary Lynn's
Yep.
awesome. We're
With
going to have her back
you.
again. We have so much to
Aw.
talk about. All right.
Life.
Bye.
Love you guys. Bye.